How are you going to prep for that real estate exam? Well, you're going to review national questions, okay, that applies to all 50 states, and also math. Yes, hi Dolly, I'm finally live. I was doing a product review, so yes, I'm finally live, and we're going to start out with national questions, and then we're going to do some math at the second part of the class, okay? Because I had someone ask about some math, and so I thought I'd review some of that. And the national questions that anyone can attend throughout the US. It impacts anyone who's taking their exam nationally. So excuse me for starting later than normal. I'm glad all of you hung in there. Yeah, that's why that's not why. Let's see here. I'm called Wow Lillie Hendy. So, wow. Hi, Lisbeth. Hi, Paige. Hi, Taylor. Hi, April. Hi, Jesse. So let's see here. Yes, it's a little later than normal, right? Normally I start at 10 o'clock, and I was doing a product review. I passed my tests. Woohoo! Congratulations. Yes, that is awesome. Let us know what you studied, how often you studied, and what books you bought and that type of thing. Congratulations, Jesse. Just took my math, quit, and got 84% quiz. Okay, keep taking it again till you get 100%. All right. Now, good things come to those who wait. Yes, thank you, Paige. And way to go, Jesse. Look at all those congratulations. Awesome, Jesse. Congratulations to both of you. Yes, right? It is awesome, awesome, awesome. Fantastic. All right. So let's go with national questions. Again, this apply to all 50 states, right? I had someone ask me if this works for, they're in California and they only take one exam, or some other state, you only take one exam. However, even though you take one exam, okay, that one exam includes national. Because if you move to any other state, the only part that you need to repeat if you want to get a license in a new state is the state license. So every state has national questions, whether it's one exam or separate, one for national, one for Texas, like we are doing it here in Texas. And today we're starting with question 41. All right, so here we go. So a multiple listing authorization gives a broker what authority? A, to list the owner's property on multiple listing service. B, to sell several properties for the owner at once. C, to represent both seller and buyer if necessary in selling the property. Or D, to delegate the listing responsibilities to other agents. So what is a multiple listing authorization? What does it give the broker? What authority does that multiple listing authorization give? So while you are thinking about that question, Jesse is letting us know he watched all my videos. Oh my God, Jesse, I have tons of them. And but thank you so much. I'm glad that they helped you, and bought the Texas and real estate license exam prep Pearson View. Awesome. How often did you study, and did you go somewhere else, like to a library or privately? Talk to your family to give you space and support you. All right, so we've got 41A from Lisbeth and Taylor. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Jesse. And I'm going to be moving a little bit faster, so I ask you to participate. Oh, and those of you that are on Facebook, I would love it if you would join us on YouTube. It, of course, helps my analytics. However, I'm going to, if anybody comes in, StreamYard.com/Facebook, and gives anybody that, well, everybody, we see their name. So nobody has just Facebook. Excellent, excellent. So whoever's watching it, Paige, I am on both. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Double whammy. All right, so the answer is A. Let's see, did I type the answer? Yes. Okay, so now we start test number 5, brokerage business and sale contracts. And this is sale contracts that have to do with all states, right? Because we're dealing with national questions. Just to confirm that, see, we're on the section 4 of this book, National Practice Test, Brokerage Business Sales Contracts. So this has to do with national. It applies to all 50 states. So let me enlarge that. Okay, brokerage business and sales contracts, right? Every state has their own contracts, laws, yet every state has similar sales contracts information. Which of the following business entities is generally prohibited from brokering real estate? Okay, entities. Okay, I need to point out vocabulary, right? Brokering, prohibited. A sole proprietorship. B, a partnership. C, corporation for profit. Or D, nonprofit corporation. Which one is prohibited from brokering real estate? All right, so Ms. Dolly already selected D. May I ask all of you to type the question number and the letter answer? Oh, and I made a mistake of not doing that myself. Ooh. On Facebook. Oh, one. Okay. All right, so we've got DDD. New to me yet. Okay, that's all right, Miss Dolly. And the answer is nonprofit, right? Because in real estate, we are helping someone, we're representing someone in exchange for compensation, right? And of course, it doesn't always have to be money, because sometimes we do like pro bono. However, this is a profession, and we're providing a service in exchange for money. Okay, each side has to perform. So when we represent someone else and expect to get paid, then we have to be licensed. Nonprofit organizations, okay, can't do that. They're not doing business to make money, even though they do make money, right, in order to run the operations and have employees, but they are nonprofit. So that is the one that is correct. 5.1D. Nonprofit organizations are prohibited because we're getting paid, we're earning commission, okay? And we're representing a client. They cannot. 5.1D. So let's see what the book says. So the book says a nonprofit organization is a corporate entity which is not legally entitled to generate profit, right? It's a what? Nonprofit corporation, may not broker real estate. All right, so let's see here. That should be it, April. Where do you live? I'm in Dallas. Okay, yeah, Jesse's in Dallas. So what did April say? So let's see. Thank you, guys. And I have an office at home. I just locked myself in there and with absolutely no noise and study for at least 3 to 4 hours a day for a week. And I was good to go. Awesome. That's fantastic. Just in case I hear you faster on Facebook. Yeah, there is a delay a little bit on StreamYard. And between StreamYard and also YouTube. Okay, so we all got it, right? The answer was D. Where did I type the answer? Okay, and then here's another one. Jesse, did the test you bought from Pearson VUE let you keep practicing over and over or just one-time test? I bought one, expected to practice over and over, but I used only one time and couldn't do it again. Yet you have to be careful about that. It's a book that I bought on Amazon. And that's when you buy some of these services, they're there to make money also, in addition to providing education. So be aware that some of these services are going to be charging. 51D. So let's see, it's a book. Okay, you bought it there. Nice. Okay, I'll look for it on Amazon. Hey, y'all, click one of the links in my description. I have Amazon link, which has national books and Texas state books. So you press that link, it'll take you to real estate prep books. And when you use my link, I get a little reward, okay, a little compensation, because I'm an affiliate with Amazon. So I collect a little bit of money. So I would greatly appreciate it if you click one of the Amazon links on my YouTube subscription. Description. It doesn't have to be one in particular. Any link that you use, unless you're buying that particular book, right? But when those, a couple of those links are for specific books. So I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, it's not paying a whole lot, but every penny counts, right? And eventually starts to add up. All right, number 2, a joint venture may generally broker real estate if the co-ventures, a joint venture, what is a joint venture? May generally broker real estate if the co-venturers, co-venturers are what? A, form a business trust. B, form a cooperative association. C, are properly licensed. Or D, are limited partners. So what is a joint venture? So when you have a joint, you have 2 or more parts, right? So think of joint being, a joint connects, the forearm and the arm, right? Or the forearm and the wrist, right? This is a joint. So it's 2 or more, just like joint tenancy, it's 2 or more individuals. A joint venture may generally broker real estate if the co-venturers are what? Actually, the answer is C, are properly licensed. Okay, so which one said generally broker? They can generally broker real estate. Somebody has to have a license. So the answer is C, 5.2C. So you said form a cooperative association. No, that association can't represent clients in exchange for compensation, right? Or some form of monetary compensation. So the keyword broker real estate. What do we need to broker real estate? We need a license, right? We need a real estate license, not just any license. Of course, a broker in Texas, a broker is the main broker of the organization. In other states, it's called the principal broker. So, and a broker could just be an agent, okay, a realtor. So just thought I'd clarify that in case you're in a state that has principal brokers and you're like, well, a broker is an agent, just a realtor, just a salesperson. And that is correct, okay? All right, number 3, a licensed salesperson. What kind of a salesperson? A licensed salesperson may work only for A, client who has signed a listing agreement with a licensed broker. B, a single employing broker who has an active broker's license. C, a client who has signed an authorization agreement with a licensed salesperson. Or D, an employer who has an active or inactive broker's license. So a licensed salesperson, a real estate licensed salesperson, right? May work for whom? Oh, Dolly, the joint lost me for a moment. Yeah. Well, joint is 2 or more. Okay. However, anyone that's going to represent someone in real estate, okay, we're going to gain money for representing another, then we have to be licensed. Ooh, I almost typed the wrong answer. So the answer here is B as in boy. So I got many different answers. So let's review this. All right. So, it's licensed salesperson only for B, a single employing broker who has an active broker's license. Before we can represent anyone, okay, a client, or work with customers and discuss particulars about real estate, we have to hang our license with a broker. We're not necessarily employed. We are independent contractors. Okay. It says employed. They're taking us in and signing an independent contractors agreement for us to do business using their name, and we pay them a percentage for their marketing, their advertising, their name. Okay. Because a name of a brokerage can bring a lot of business in some cases, but the business, hi Belen, thanks for joining us. The business is predominantly attracted by us if we're independent contractor agents, okay, independent contractors, and we pay our own not real estate taxes, our own IRS, right? Income taxes. So the other ones, oh, I already typed it there. The other ones, let's see, we had an A and a C. A client who has signed a listing agreement with the licensed broker. We do get hired by a client. However, first we have to, a licensed broker may work only for a single employing broker. So we can only work with one broker, not multiple, but we can be hired by multiple clients. However, only one broker. That's the difference there. Now, yes, we have a client agreement and they are hiring us. Okay. We can also have 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 more clients. Only one broker. C says a client who has signed an authorization agreement with a licensed person. So yeah, we have an authorization agreement. So it's a buyer's representation agreement. Okay, we're authorized to represent them. And again, we can represent a bunch of buyers. We only have an employing independent contract agreement relationship with one broker. We cannot be with multiple brokers at the same time, even if we're in different states, licensed in different states. And let's see a comment here. Have to read these critically. Yes, have to be very careful. What are they asking for? So, if I ask you, can you only work with one client? So it said licensed salesperson may work only for, okay, we don't only work for clients that have a listing agreement. We also work with clients who have a buyer's representation agreement or that are looking for an apartment or a house to rent. 3 different types of clients right there. Okay. So may work only, keyword. So the only one that applies to only is a single employing broker who has an active broker's license. D, of course, wouldn't apply because it says inactive. Got it? Got it? Yes. Yeah, it can be a little tricky, right? Little keyword. So that question had only. So you have to think, in the real world, how many people can you represent? A whole bunch, especially when you become a team and you have buyer agents and listing agents. So it says only a broker with an active broker's license can hire and employ a licensed salesperson, because brokers can also hire a licensed person, but they're on salary or they're on hourly, right? They are an employee, maybe to do transaction coordination and other things. A licensed salesperson may work only for the employing broker. and may not work or receive direct compensation for any others. All right, number 4, which of the following activities is a licensed salesperson allowed to engage in? Okay, so what things can a licensed salesperson do? What can they engage in? A, accept the listing that is an associate's name. B, accept a commission directly from the MLS. C, offer a property for lease on behalf of the employing broker. Or D, sign a contract with a management company on behalf of a client. So, which of the following activities is a licensed salesperson allowed to engage in? Type your answer in the chat. Because some of the answers required, to be a property manager or a broker. So this is just a licensed salesperson that has not become a broker, hasn't done real estate enough years, or hasn't taken additional education. No, it is not D. In order for it to be D, sign a contract with a management company on behalf of another. No, that requires a broker license to be in property management. The answer is C, offer a property for lease on behalf of the employing broker. Because what? All the transactions belong to the broker that we hang our license with. Therefore, we can offer a property for lease or for sale, okay? Or to work with a buyer to purchase. So the answer is C. A says, accept the listing that is in an associate's name. No, we cannot accept the listing in somebody else's name. An associate would be another salesperson, right? We accept a listing under our name, brokered by our broker. And we sign on behalf of our broker. That's what the contracts have on it. So we cannot, that's like conveying a listing or transferring a listing from one realtor to another. Can't do that. If that realtor is not going to represent that client again, it has to be terminated, or it gets returned. It goes to the broker. Okay, because if someone leaves and the property is under contract, so it stays with the broker, that agent still goes somewhere else, and when it closes, they get paid even if they're at another brokerage, but it automatically goes to the broker because it belongs to the broker to begin with. So the answer is 5.4C. They cannot accept a listing on somebody else's name. We do not get money paid from MLS. We pay MLS to be able to view all the listed properties, expired, under contract, rented, blah, blah, blah. And we are a salesperson, so we cannot sign a contract with a management company, okay, on behalf of another, on behalf of a client. Got it? Most people answered A, B, D, all of them except for C. Oh, Lisbeth got C. Wait. Oh, Lisbeth and Taylor got C. Awesome. Very good. Number 5. If a salesperson has worked on a completed transaction, what kind of transaction? A completed transaction that involved a listing agent, a selling agent, and several sub-agents for each of these. From whom will the salesperson receive any compensation that is due? A, the listing agent. B, the selling agent. C, the seller. Or D, the employing broker. In other words, who do we get paid from? Who does everyone get compensated from? Of course, when we have a listing agreement, the seller pays whom? Doesn't pay us directly. So who do they pay? Who do they owe the listing percentage to? Remember, All transactions belong to the broker. So the answer here is D. Very good. Voila. Yes, the answer is D, the employing broker. And don't mistake that you're being employed and paid by the broker. Okay, we are paid on our own. We're independent contractors. However, it's used, we're employed by the broker. We're hanging our license there with the broker, and the broker is paying us, okay, the commission that we earned after they keep their portion, okay, and we pay other expenses. After we cap, when we reach 100% of what we owe the brokerage, then we get 100% our commission minus transaction fees and error and omission. So very, very good. Here comes a math problem. We don't see very many math problems. Or I should say a math question. Independent contractors. Yes, we are independent contractors, and we will sign an independent contractor agreement with the sponsor that you join. They have to accept you. Okay. There's some brokerages that only take, high-end luxury top producing realtors. The majority of brokerages, okay, take just about all beginners. So 5.6, a property has sold for how much? 380,000. Actually, I just closed one this week for 380,000. And I represented the buyer, and I got 3% commission. Okay, so the commission, on 380,000, calculate that. And then I get to keep 80%. Right? 380 times 3. So that's 24. That's 9, 10, 11,000. Okay, 11,400. And I get to keep 80% until I cap. I'm not quite there. I've sold over $1 million in the last 2-3 months. All right, now I'm hustling. The listing agreement calls for a commission of 6.5%. The listing broker and selling broker agreed to share the commission equally. What will the listing agent receive if the agent is scheduled to get a 40% share? So I just told you that I got an 80% share, right, at my brokerage. This agent is getting a 40% share of a 6.5%. So there's two ways of doing it. You can divide 6.5 divided by 2, and you will get 3.25. Each brokerage is getting 3.25 times 380. And then from that, they get 40%. Okay, so what is the answer there? Somebody said D, very good, calculated it. Yes, it is 4,940, number D. I just gave you an example where I got 80%, right? So that's twice that. So I got $9,680, minus the transaction fee. And then I contribute 5% towards like a 401k. What's it? 5.6 E. Woohoo, everyone. Yes, it was sweet. Okay. I ended up writing 4 contracts for that client, and I have known them for over 2 years. Rented one property and hadn't been able to find the right property to buy. So it took over 2 years. Now, we didn't search consistently over those 2.5 years. And we started searching again and for different issues, foundation, roof. So it can sometimes be a lot of work. And the reward is eventually very nice. So now I'm putting their property on the market to rent. they bought it as an investment. Okay, we're on number 7. And I already have a tenant. I showed the property to a potential before it even closed. Ain't that nice? I'll be getting both sides should it go through. All right, so here, wow, love keeping clients and following up. Awesome. Ready to go, Paige. All right, number 7. A real estate salesperson finds a buyer for us for sale by owner. What kind of owner? For sale by owner. We call them FSBO. FSBO. That's the acronym. So for buyer to a FSBO property. The home sells for $245,000 and the seller agrees to pay a commission of 3%. How much commission? 3%. And who is paying it? The seller. Okay, so the seller is the for sale by owner. They're selling it on their own. They're willing to cooperate with realtors and pay a 3% commission. And we better put it in writing. The salesperson is on a 65% commission schedule with her broker, who pays her 65% minus office expenses of $500. How much would the salesperson receive from this transaction? Okay, so 3% times 245, right? And from that amount, you multiply by 65% and then subtract 500. So Dolly says C. Anyone else? Oh, oops. What was the Oh, you said A. Wow, you were close, but not quite. So 3% of 245, right? So I rounded up to 250, but which would be, like what, 7,500 if it was 250. So 245 times 0.03. Then you take 65% of that, then subtract the 500, because the 500 comes from our commission, not from the 35% that the broker gets, right? So we don't subtract 500 first and then our 65. No, we do the 65% and then deduct the 500 because it is our expense. Oh, yes, you forgot the 5. Yes, of course. 500 plus 4278 gives us 4778, right? Right. Hi, Russwoody. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. That's why I like to write down math problems, okay, with a pencil. If you don't have a pencil, of course, use a pen. Well, more than likely, you're going to have a calculator. That's right. Nowadays, you use calculators. I call them calculators in Spanish, right? Calculators. All right, number 8. A salesperson makes a listing presentation. Okay, what kind of presentation? A listing presentation. To whom? A home seller. That's who we do a listing presentation. To the buyers, we do a buyer consult. So listing presentation to a home seller and obtains a signed listing agreement. Woohoo! The first thing the salesperson must now do is A, make a final pricing determination for the property. B, negotiate the commission with the client. C, complete the signing of the listing. Or D, explain the agency relationship to the client. So look, they made a presentation. They obtained a signed listing agreement. So what's the first thing? Once we have a listing agreement signed, what's the first thing we should do or we must do? It says must. It's not a shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's a must. No, it's not D. We do the agency relationship first. That's the information about brokerage services, right? And the listing agreement is actually the agency relationship agreement. That creates the agency relationship when they sign the listing agreement. So they sign the listing agreement first. After they have signed everything, we make sure everything is signed, initialed, everything is correct. Then the realtor signs the agreement, the listing agreement. We complete the listing agreement and we date it. and then send them a copy or have an extra copy to give them. Sometimes I used to carry around my own little printer, a little portable printer. Now, for the most part, we send it via email. A lot of documents are signed via email, right? A lot of that also happened during COVID, but they were being done prior to that also. And some clients still like us to email them so they can print them or mail them a copy. Now, do most clients read whole agreement? No, it's a template. The only thing that is template in the so very good. Dolly, oh, you answered A. No, make a final price. No, the price determination is done during the listing presentation and presenting the comparables, right? The actives, the pendings, those that are under contract, and the sold. So we can determine how long did it take to get an offer? How many days did it take to close? Actives are the competition. That's when we review and come to an agreement on a price to put it on the market. Okay, so we have to justify to them the price range that we're recommending. And if they wanted a little higher, we need to look at the pros and cons and see if it's justifiable, with the understanding that we may get a price reduction right then and there, should we not get any activity in 1 or 2 weeks. So we plan ahead, have an amendment with a price reduction if they want us to list it a little bit higher than we normally would, based on what? The comparables. Okay, and that's actually a competitive analysis, because why? A competitive analysis also is a CMA, right? Both is our CMA. Comparable market analysis is only sold. Competitive market analysis is active, pending, those under contract, and sold. That is a competitive, right? We're showing the competition to them, which is those that are listed, which could be in the same street, in the same neighborhood, half a mile. And yeah, so let's see here. So really all A, B, and D were already done with this listing. Let's go back. Number 8. Yes. Okay, so the final price was agreed upon when you go through the comparables and you recommend a price range. And if it makes sense to them, then they agree. Boom, we put that on the contract. And the negotiating of the commission, that also comes within the presentation. It could be like after we show them the marketing, or initially they may ask us, okay, so what is your commission? How much do you charge? Well, 6% or 8% or 10%. Oh, wow, that's too much. Well, Mr. Seller, let me show you what I'm going to provide. Let me explain my marketing strategy. Now you can do it for, less, then I will provide less services. So, and then you can increase in increment. And then D, yeah, when they sign the listing agreement, that is now an agency relationship, right? We have an agreement signed between the seller and the broker, and us as the associate signing for the broker. All right, very good. Number 9. Oh, I was trying to make it larger. Let's see if I go to the next page. It's not going to work. It's going to be too small. All right, number 9. Juan shows a customer a property that is listed for another brokerage firm. He obtains an offer that is $5,000 less than the listing price. How should Juan deal with this offer? So Juan is showing whom? A customer. Okay, do we have an agency relationship with a customer? So Juan shows a customer a property that is listed by another brokerage firm, which is typical, right? We're a buyer agent. We're going to show either our brokerage firm or predominantly other brokerages properties that are listed. They obtain an offer that is $5,000 less than the list price. So he wrote an offer by the buyer that said, hey, I want to offer $5,000 less. How should Juan deal with this offer? A, advise the buyer that the offer will be rejected. B, present the offer to the seller at the earliest possible moment. C, ask the listing broker to lower the listing price. Or D, counter the offer. So as soon as a contract is signed by a buyer to make an offer, what are we legally required to do? A must do. Not a shoulda, coulda, woulda, or maybe. No, it is not B. A buyer and a customer, a realtor and an agent and a customer, they don't counter. No, only seller and buyer counter. The transaction, the contract is between a buyer and a seller. We are representing them to help them come to a good price by showing them comparables, properties that have sold. We do not counter to the buyer. The buyer, the seller may counter to the buyer, and then the buyer can counter to the seller until they come to a meeting of the minds. So the answer here is C. I'm sorry, B, present the offer. Present the offer to the seller at the earliest possible moment. Now it says present to the offer. However, we're not going directly to the seller. We present the offer to the other realtor, okay, at the other brokerage, and they present it to their seller. So just know that it's between realtor and realtor, unless it's a for sale by owner. It didn't say that. Okay. And Juan shows it to a customer. So that person is still a customer. So if Juan doesn't sign a buyer's representation agreement, he's actually a sub-agent for the seller and can share anything the buyer says to the seller agent. Y'all got that? Because they're a customer and that is listed by another. He shows a customer, presents the offer, and he obtains an offer that is less than fifth listing price. Doesn't say anything about signing a buyer's rep agreement, and it's not necessary here, okay? However, that's another key word. They're not a client yet, they're a customer. The fact that they signed an offer doesn't make them a client. They can still be a customer and they want to represent themselves, okay? Brokerages nowadays are going to say, get that buyer representation agreement so that you make sure you get paid and we are representing them correctly, looking out for their best interest. All right, what are we at? Number 10. A broker receives an earnest money deposit. What kind of deposit? Earnest money. When do we get the earnest money? When there's a signed contract, right? A broker receives an earnest money deposit from a buyer and signs the check over to the listing agent as a partial commission advance. What is wrong with this procedure? Whoa. A, nothing, provided the deposit clears the bank and doesn't bounce. B, the broker and the agent are guilty of price fixing. C, the broker has illegally converted security funds for business use. Or D, the agent may not be able to return the advance if the transaction falls through. So what is wrong with this picture? What do we do as a broker when we get earnest money? Where does it have to get deposited? That money does not belong to the broker. Who does it belong to? It belongs to the buyer until the transaction closes or is terminated. And then it has to determine who the money belongs to. Yes, so the answer is C. The broker has illegally converted security funds for business use. So the broker says from the earnest money, they signed the check over to the listing agent as partial commission event. Big no-no. Big no. That money belongs to the buyer. What if the transaction falls? That buyer's going to want their money back. Ooh, bummer. Now the broker's got to come up with it, but now, they're commingling. They're doing illegal stuff. And when you become a realtor and you're in doubt of something to do, go to your broker, not necessarily to other realtors. That's why the brokers are there, because they have gone through more education and more training than we as salespeople. So when we go ask another salesperson, they may like, oh yeah, it's okay. Well, heck no. How do we know they're right? I thought C, but lost my chat. Okay, not sure about that. Okay, so it was C. The broker has illegal converted security funds that belong to the buyer. That's the earnest money deposit. It either goes to the title company, according to what the contract says, or it goes to, and they put it in a trust account, or it goes to the broker's trust account. 11, under what circumstances may a property listed for sale? So what kind of property? A property listed for sale with a brokerage, be advertised without identifying the broker. So under what circumstance? A, when the salesperson is an out-of-state licensee. B, when the ad is restricted to the brokerage's website. C, when the advertisement is a silent ad. Or D, never. If you're answering in the chat, this is a good question to know right away. Come on. There's a whole bunch of you on here. And hey, just a reminder, there's a whole bunch of you on watching on YouTube. Send me some love. Give me some thumbs up, all right? If you found this useful, you're still here, so you must be learning something. Send me some love. Help my analytics. Help my YouTube channel. And encourage me to keep doing this. I wish I could do it for every state. I may be doing some pre-recorded and loading for other states. However, a lot of my students do like the participation doing class. Yes, the answer is D, never, and never land, right? Yeah, never. Number 12, very good. So again, this is still national questions that apply to all 50 states. If anyone just came in, come on, y'all. I only have 4, and there are 12 of you on here. Give me some love. All right, number 12, competing brokers rate for principals within the county. Okay, so competing brokers in a county seat agree on a standard commission rate for principals, with the principals, sellers, okay, within the county. This is a possible violation of what? A, fair trade and antitrust laws. B, the statute of frauds. C, contract law. Or D, the Uniform Commercial Code. Remember, this is a competitive business and we're actually competing with ourselves, okay? Not really with someone else. We're competing with ourselves to keep growing and doing better and learning more and increasing our income, our wealth. All right, A, apple, and that is correct. Oh, come on. The fair trade and antitrust laws, right? We can do, there's fair trade. That is price fixing if they decide to get together and discuss about charging a certain fee, like let's say they all want to charge us 4% or 3% so that they attract more sellers, that's illegal. Unless they are a, what do you call it, a service type of real estate company, a transaction company that they charge 1% or something like that. That's different. If that's their policy, it's not between broker to broker to broker. All right, number 13. What is co-brokerage? Co-brokerage. Okay, I haven't pointed out all the vocabulary words. There's been a lot of them, okay? Not some really hard ones, though. A co-brokerage. A, an owner agent and a buyer agent combine efforts to complete a sale. B, outside brokers assist a listing agent in procuring a buyer. C, an owner or buyer will list with several brokers to complete a transaction. D, agents from a single agency cooperate to generate listings for the broker. So a co-brokerage. Remember, we do business with lots and lots of brokers. We're only under one broker. It is not A. Someone, Paige, it is not A. Take another attempt. Ooh, we got some A. An owner agent and a buyer agent combine efforts to complete a sale. No. Co-brokerage is we're cooperating with other brokers in order to get our seller, the one broker, getting that property sold. Because who are we marketing the property to? The world, and to other brokers, other realtors. We're marketing to attract ready, willing, and able buyers and buyer agents that have a ready, willing, and able buyer. So we're cooperating with other brokers, outside of our brokerage, the brokerage that you belong to, assist a listing agent in procuring a buyer. Because in order to do the real estate business, you want to have a lot of you can represent more sellers than we can represent buyers. Why? Because with the sellers, our job is to attract a ready, willing, and able buyer. And how do we do that? By marketing, calling, creating videos on the property, a lot of activities, door knocking, okay, and open houses. So we're there to attract the buyer from other brokers or from the public. Meant to type B. Okay, meant to type B. Very good. Number 14. Well, let's see. Can I get it on the other page? Yeah. Which of the following may associate his or her name or title with the term realtor, okay? And we have a copyright R there. When the word realtor is capitalized, it's a must to use the copyright R. When it's lowercase and just a capital R, it's not required. You'll learn that when you're in doing the real estate. So which of the following may associate his or her name or title with the term realtor? A, any active or inactive broker in the country. B, a duly licensed active agent or broker. C, any member in good standing in a properly chartered real estate trade organization. Or D, only members of the National Association of Realtors. So who may associate their name or title with the term realtor? Because we're all agents when we get started, we're sales agents. We then have to pay dues and fees every year in order to become a realtor, not a realtor or a relator. It's a realtor. It's 2 syllables, realtor. So we must be only associated, use the word realtor, the term realtor, when we are members of the National Association of Realtors. Then we become a professional and we pay a fee for the national, our state, and our local every January 1st. It's due every January 1st. And that's when a lot of realtors drop out, when they haven't saved the money or don't have the money in order to pay that, because it's over $400 here in Texas. So it all depends on your particular state and your local board. The national is the same for everybody. And then there's the state association of realtors. And then there's your local board. And then every quarter, we pay association fees to the MLS, multiple listing service fees. Okay, so you just ordered this book. It's time to really start. All right. I hope you used my link in the description from Amazon. Well, good. Yes, you can follow on with that. All right. Number 15, real estate sales agents are legally authorized to do what? Real estate sales agents. We are legally authorized to do what? A, represent their employing broker in procuring clients and customers. B, act directly on a client's behalf to discharge the broker's listing responsibilities. C, negotiate and execute contracts for sale on behalf of the client. Or D, take on listing responsibilities for other listings in MLS. Ooh. Yeah, this is an excellent book. It's not the only one, but it's the one that I have permission to use. And it's because I like the book, and a lot of my students have used it in different states. They have this book in 26 different states, and they keep adding more states until they have 50. Luckily, we have it in Texas. There are other prep books. I like the ones that have answers, explanations for the questions, and reviews about, all the topics that you study. It is not C. The real estate sales agents are legally authorized to do what? So if you see realtor signs that says so-and-so brokered by, so-and-so, right? So-and-so brokerage. So we are brokered by a particular sponsor, a particular broker. Therefore, we are legally authorized to represent their employing broker, represent our employing broker in procuring clients and customers. So we are the associates for the brokerage, and we're there to attract buyers and sellers and customers, right? And convert them to clients when they're seriously looking to buy or to sell. Because all those contracts belong to whom? The broker. Now, if we become a broker and we go out on our own, they all belong to us or to me, right? Because I'm the boss of me in my own brokerage. I'm already a broker, and I did that in Oregon. But now I'm legally responsible to make sure everything is correct. And I don't want that responsibility. So the answer here is A. It is represent their employing broker in procuring clients and customers. That's what we do as a realtor, as a sales agent. We generate leads. We have conversations every day, and learn about the customer, the buyers or sellers that we are attracting or developing relationships or conversations. We're here to ask questions, right? Set appointments and create conversations. When we create conversations, we get leads. We're able to hopefully convert a buyer, a customer, convert a seller, a customer. Okay. Until they sign something, an agreement between us and them, they are a customer, a prospect, right? So we are what they call prospecting, right? Like the gold prospectors, you know, with their little metal pen on the creeks or the rivers looking for gold. They're prospectors. We are prospectors. We have conversations every day with different people to generate relationships, create relationships, and convert to clients. And we are appointment setters because we talk to someone, we hopefully schedule an appointment to earn their business. Okay, so that's it for national questions. Any question on national before we call it quits on national? Okay, and again, the book that we're doing here is this blue book. And it's in 26 states, and I have the link in the description should you want to buy it from Amazon. You can also buy used books, all right? You don't have to buy a brand new book. I sometimes buy used books, other times I buy brand new ones, okay? Because I keep all my books. Well, if I end up having to move and stuff, sometimes I go give them, I donate them. I don't throw them away, I donate them. All right, so now we're going to go and do some math. Okay, any questions? So, hey, y'all, this is Wild Lily Handy coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, okay, with YouTube Agent Prep and book Agent Prep. So I'm in both, okay? The Facebook group is private. You have to request to join, provide your name, where you're from, and your email. And then you get approved, and there are resources in there, and these are streamed. This is being streamed to Facebook, to LinkedIn, and also to YouTube. So on YouTube, right, it stays there forever, like a movie. And Facebook also, but it's harder to find. You have to scroll down and down, or check the media tab. So on the Agent Prep private Facebook, I have 14 guides that you can go in there and download other questions, vocabulary, the night before the real estate exam, you know, little guides like that. No questions? So give me a moment. I'm going to excuse myself for a moment here. And we'll continue with that. Take a sip of water, which I need to do, and walk a little bit. So I highly recommend that you take a break every 20 to 25 minutes when you're studying. Jim Quick, who wrote a book about Limitless, teaches on how to study. And he says, study in 20-minute sessions. Remove it. Study in 20-minute sessions because we remember the beginning and the end of every 20 minutes. So that is very important. When we, is it going to be only math? Yes, the second half now, I'm not doing Texas, I'm only doing math, okay? So it's a math review because I don't do this very often. And I've had a couple people during the session ask if I'm going to do any math. So the math that we do is typically on questions. Here we're going to review. So there is not a section that does just math questions. All right. It's all, they're all included in the actual quizzes or actual tests. So we're going to start out with some basic math. So again, study in 20-minute sessions, get up, take a 1 to 3 minute break, drink some water, stay hydrated. And I also have a scented, let me see if it'll make it over, a scented diffuser. I have wild orange today. So it gives me a nice aroma. I put my favorite cologne on, and I love to have music in the background, not when I'm recording anymore. So it makes it a comfortable environment for us to study or to teach or to learn. Okay, so some basic math. So, what the heck? Oh, wow. I went really far. Excuse me. I don't know what the heck I did here. Let me go to the beginning. Oh my gosh, I went all the way down to, okay, basic math. So fractions. Okay, fractions, you know, we do percentages, right? It's divide, add, and subtract. Subtracting same denominator, right? So this is a fraction. Denominator, common denominator. So A over C plus B over C equals what? A plus B over C. You have a common denominator, the same C. So like when we're doing acreage on the government survey system, there's a common numerator on top. It's the 1. The 1 equals 640 acres. Okay. So example, 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 2/2. 2 over 2 equals 1. So adding and subtracting. And so these are things on how to calculate sometimes percentages that you're going to use a fraction. So adding and subtracting different denominators. So now we have different denominators and it's plus. So A plus B. So A over C, B over D. So it's AD plus BC. So it's A times D plus, so you do a crisscross type of multiplication and multiply the two bottom ones. So that can be used in when we're doing the T formula, except on the T formula, we have a common number on top, and on the bottom, we have the percentage and we have the whole number, right? So then it's C times D. So that is CD. So 1/2 plus 1/3 will equal 1 times 3 equals 3. 1 times 2 equals 2. 2 times 2, 3 on the bottom is 6. So that is 5/6. Okay, so it could be 5/6 of an acre. You have a 1/2 acre lot and you have a 1/3 acre lot. How much acreage do you have? Right? You have to find a common denominator, which is 6. In order to do that, you have to cross multiply. And then, so the formula is, so here, when you're multiplying, you multiply horizontally. A times B, AB on the bottom. So the numerator, A times B, the denominator, C times D. Much easier. When it's a plus sign, it's cross multiplication and then horizontal multiplication on the numerator, on the denominator. Example, 2/5 times 4 is 6. Just multiply 2 times 4 equals 8. 5 times 6 equals 30. And then you reduce it. What do I mean by reducing it? So does a number go into each of these that can be made smaller? Yeah, we can divide by 2. 2 into 8 is 4. 2 into 2 into 30 is 15. Much easier number to calculate. So then we also deal with decimals in real estate, decimals and percentages, okay, percents, right? Like we were calculating the percent of that we're getting 3% on a property, okay? And then from that 3%, then we get 40% or 80% commission, right? So that is percentages, and you can convert it to decimals. So when you have a decimal number, you multiply by 100, and that equals the percentage number. So this is the decimal number. You have a point, you have a period, decimal, times 100, then equals 2.2%. So if you have a problem that gives you 2.2% and you want to convert it into a decimal, you move the decimal back 2 places. 1, 2, right? Look, the decimal would be here. 1, 2. Move it back 2 spaces. So from a decimal to a percentage is multiplied by 100. Now you're going to be doing it on a calculator. You don't have to do that. Now converting percentages to decimals. So the percent number on top divided by 100, right? So that's when I said, if you want to convert this into a decimal, all you really do, you're dividing by 100 and you're moving the decimal back 1, 2. That's converting percentage. You're converting this percent to a decimal. Converting the percent, you have 0.02, 2.2, the percent number, divided by 100 equals the decimal number. So this, this is the percent number, right? It has the percent sign next to it. So when they tell you it's a percent, then you have a percent sign. If it's a decimal number, they're still going to say, okay, it's 22%. So then it's 0.22 because I had 22%. So example, 2.2 percentage divided by 100 gives us 0.022. Same as here. You either multiply by 100 or you divide by 100. Depends which way you want to go. Convert to a percent or convert to a decimal. Now multiplying percentages. So you have the percent number, right? 2.2% divided by 100 equals the decimal number, right? We just went over there. Now, beginning number times decimal number equals the product. So the beginning number is the percentage, right? The percent number of, what is the percent of 256? So it's 75% times 256. That equals blank. So when you see a question that says something of a whole number, a percentage of 50% of 300,000, you're multiplying 0.5 times 300,000, right? So it's 0.75. So you're dividing, okay, you're dividing by 100. So it moves the decimal back 2 places. Okay, you get 0.75. So 256 times 75% or 0.75 equals 192. So you're going to be using this type of calculation to make sure that you're getting the right commission, because sometimes, you know, brokerages do make errors. We make errors, they make errors, okay? But they have multiple people, you know, checks and balances. Okay, dividing by percents. So you have the percent number equals the decimal number divided by 100. Okay, let me, the percent number, right? 75% divided by 100, the decimal number equals this. So it's a beginning number times decimal number equals the product, right? The beginning number, or that's, we already did that. So dividing by percent, you have the percent number, divide by 100 equals the decimal number. So the beginning number here is 240 divided by 70%. So the other one was multiplying, right? What is 75 of 256? So 75% of 256, it's multiplied. Okay, and here it's what is 240 divided by 75%? Not its times, right? So it is the beginning number, 240, divided by the decimal. That's the percentage converted to a decimal, equals the dividend. So 75% divided by 100 equals 0.75, right? That's to get the 0.75, the decimal number. And then the beginning number, right? The beginning number here. So now let me make it smaller. So we have the beginning number, 240 divided by 75% equals question mark. 75% divided by 100 gives us 0.75, right? All we do is move the decimal back 2 places. 1, 2, the decimal's right there, 0.75. That's basically dividing by 100. You either multiply by 100 or divide by 100 when you're dealing with percentages, when you want to convert to a decimal or add the percent sign. So now the beginning number is 240 divided by 0.75 equals 320. So whenever the denominator is smaller than 1, the answer is going to be larger than the beginning number, right? Because 240 divided by 100 or divided by 1% equals 240. So if you divide by a smaller percent, the beginning number is going to be larger. Okay, 320. Now, decimals, fractions, and percentages. Converting fractions to percent. So the formula is A divided by B or A divided by B. Same difference, right? So A/B, which we have on our keyboards, or A divided by B. Most keyboards don't have the divide sign, but your calculator will. So is A divided by B equals decimal number. So that's what we had here. A divided by B. Okay, so give us a decimal number. Actually, it was on A divided by B gives us the decimal. A decimal number times 100 gives us the percent. So that was this one. A decimal number times 100 gives us the percent. Example, 2 divided by 5 equals 2 divided by 5. Okay, or use the little divide sign, okay, like they did here, this here. Equals 0.04. So you're like saying 20 divided by 5. How many times does 5 go into 20? 4. However, it's not 20, right? So we're moving the decimal back 1 place, 0.4. So if we had added a 0, it'd be 20 divided by 5. That's more understandable, right? We can divide 20 divided by 5. It goes into it 4 times. However, it's 2. So then if it was 4 times, then we have to divide by 100 and it becomes 0.4. So 0.4 times 100, now we're converting it into a percentage. So we had a rate here. 2 divided by 5 is a rate. Gives us a decimal. Then we're multiplying the decimal to convert to a percent. And we call this 0.4%, right? And that's equal to 40%. It's 40% of 100. We have 100%, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 0, right? Converting a percent to fraction and reducing it. So X percentage equals X divided by 100, right? Any percent that has a percent sign, you divide by 100. If it has a decimal, you multiply by 100, or X divided by 100. So the division sign or the slash sign, / is a division. So X divided is where where A is the largest number that divides evenly. 100% divided A into both numerator and denominator. They're making it a little confusing there. So X divided by A, where A is the largest number. So it says X divided by A. A is the bottom number that divides evenly. So 100 divided by A into both numerator and denominator. Example, 40% equals 40 divided by 100, or 40 divided by 100, right? Same thing, division /. B is 40 divided by 20 equals 2, or 100 divided by 20 equals 5, right? And so here we had 2 divided by 5. So I was like 20 divided by 5, right, is 0.4. So these are percent or going into a whole number. Okay, 40% divided by 20% equals 2, or just a flat number. 40 divided by 20 equals 2, 100% divided by 20% equals 5. So converting fractions to decimals, converting fractions to decimals and percentages. Okay, so this is a fraction, right? When you have one number over another, the numerator over the denominator. So you have a decimal times 100. Oops. Okay, so, okay, they're just repeating the formula. Okay. A decimal times 100 equals 75%. We already did that. Okay, so that's percentages. Converting percentage to a decimal, or a decimal to a percentage. And that's to help you calculate your commission, or the percentage rate that someone is paying on their loan that they're getting. Let's say they're paying 6% for the loan, 300,000 times 6%, and then that's divided by 12, right? Because 6 is the interest rate, and the annual percentage rate is usually a little bit higher because it includes certain closing costs. So 300,000, okay, divided by times a 6% interest rate gives you what? 18,000. So they're paying 18,000 interest. Divide that by 12, and that lets you know how much interest you're paying a year. A month, 1,000 something in interest. So equations, additions and subtractions. Now, when it comes to finances, we send them to a lender. That's not our expertise. Some realtors do take finance classes in order to also help their clients. However, we want to help more buyers and more sellers. So send them to a professional that's what they do, lending. Now, addition and subtraction equations, okay? A plus B equals C, right? 1 plus 2 equals 4. Yeah, really. 1 plus 2 equals 3. 2 plus 2 equals 4, right? So if A equals B plus C, so one number is the sum of two numbers. So 2 equals 1 plus 1, right? 4 equals 2 plus 2. So A is the sum of two numbers. Since it's B and C, they want it to be maybe different numbers. So let's say this was a 3. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So A is 3, B is 1, C is 2. So then B equals, so now you write the equation a different way. So now you want to find out what is B. So B equals A minus C. So you bring the C to the other side, A minus C, because A is the larger number. B and C together total A. So to find B is going to have to be subtracted. C will be subtracted from A. If we're looking for C, B will be subtracted from A, because what? A is the larger number. A is the total of B and C. So when looking for B or looking for C, we're subtracting B from A or C from A. So 10 equals 6 plus 4, right? So then 6 equals 10 minus 4. 4 equals 10 minus 6. 10 is the larger number that totals both 6 and 4. 4 plus 6 equals 10. Okay? Multiplication and division. So that's simple addition and subtraction. However, when we don't practice it on paper and we do calculators, we forget how to do it. We don't think about it, right? The calculator does it. Formula: if A equals B times C, oh my gosh. Ignore whoever's on there. I just cut them off, okay? 500 a month. 1,500 a month. Yeah. Good point. Howdy. Hi, Esmer and Taylor. I haven't been paying attention now. 1,500 a month, right? 1,500 per month. So when you're doing multiplication and division, it's either A equals B times C, or B, you write that question in a different way. Now it's dividing. B equals, bring the C over, A divided by C. Or if you're looking for C, C equals A divided by B. You bring the B over, right? Because the larger number is A. Again, in addition, A was the larger number because you're adding 2. And in multiplication, A, again, is the larger number because you're multiplying by 2 other numbers. So then B and C are going to be smaller than A when it's divided. Example, 10 equals 2 times 5, right? So then you want to find out what 2 would equal. It's 10 divided by 5. Or 5 equals 10 divided by 2. So you can write the equation. You can check your answer by, when you're doing a multiplication, you can check your answer by then dividing. When I was doing math, I loved math. That was my favorite class. Straightforward. To me, it was straightforward. I didn't have to try to understand, composition or stories. Now, there are word problems, and those have to be understood. But calculating math, oh my gosh, I love it. I was passionate about math. I used to teach math to other students. Okay, linear and perimeter measurements. Linear, a straight line, right? The frontage of a property, the road, that's a straight line. Okay, a diagonal. So those are feet, straight feet, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 feet, 5 feet, so on and so forth. And then the perimeter measurement. So linear measurement is straight. You have a box. Let's see. Can I? Oh, here I can't draw. Okay, a side A equals the area divided by B. So you're trying to calculate the square footage in a room or on the floor. The room is 10 by 8. When you multiply 10 by 8, okay, that's length times width. That gives us area. That's the area of the floor. Okay, that's the area of the room, not of the space. The space would be, the whole cube. Okay, so base times height times width. So it's 3 numbers. And so the area is base times height, a wall, okay, and the floor. The base, any square has 4 sides, 2 equal sides and 2 other equal sides, or 4 equal sides, okay? A rectangle has 2 short sides and 2 long sides. That is an area. When you multiply the 2 sides, you get the area of that square or that rectangle. So example, a rectangular house has one side 40 feet long, and the area is 1,200 square feet. You will see a problem potentially like this. So what is the length of the other side, right? Because we have side A and side B in a room or in a house, in a rectangular house. So it tells us we have 1,200 square feet. How to get the square feet? A times B equals square feet. So 40 feet times some other feet equals 1,200. So A right, equals 1,200 feet divided by 40. So this is the formula. So B is 40 feet. The area is 1,200 feet. So 1,200 feet divided by B, which is 40 feet, gives us the other side of the house, 30 foot long. So that's a 30 foot by 40 foot house. Now the perimeter measurement is different. It's the sum of all the sides of an object. And every side could be a little bit different in length. So you're adding the length of every side. This is just the length of one side and the length of the other. So you multiply the two or divide the area by 1 to get the other side. So the perimeter, an appraiser will go all around the house and measure, okay, every side of the house. If there's an indentation, measures that, everything to get the total feet. Okay, that's a perimeter. So the perimeter equals sum of all sides of the object, of the house, or whatever it is, triangle. So example, a 5-sided lot, has the following dimensions. So a 5-sided lot, so you have 5 sides, has the following dimensions. Side A equals 50 feet. Side B, 60 feet. Side C, 70 feet. Side D, 100 feet. Side E, 30 feet. So how do you calculate that? We're adding them all up, right? So there's 5 sides to that property. You add all the 5 sides and you're like, how the heck can a property have 5 sides? I thought they were rectangular, they were square. No, it can go north 50 feet, northwest, 60 feet, another southwest, 70 feet, and then west down going south 70 feet, and then go back to the starting point is from west to east 30 feet. That's what an appraiser has to do when they're measuring a lot. Okay, they're survey engineers. I mean, not the appraiser, pardon me, a survey engineer. So what is the perimeter of the lot? You're just adding all the sides. Got it? Okay, now an area measurement. What did I say? Base times height, or width times length, or width times height, or width times depth, because we're looking at a lot. A lot has the width is the frontage that face the road. The depth is from the front of the road, to the back of the property. That's the depth of it. If it's a room, you're going to have the width of the room and how high it is, how tall. If it has high ceilings, you have 9 feet, 10 feet, okay? That's the height. So depth is horizontal, okay? From the front to the rear of the lot, that's horizontal, right? It's flat. The width and the height is vertical. You're going high, like we're tall, we're height. So width equals depth, okay, height, divided by area. Or depth as a height equals width divided by area. So area is, okay, 2 sides multiplied, width times height or width times depth. That gives us an area. It's multiplying 2 sides. So that becomes 10 feet by 100 feet. Okay, that could be a really narrow lot, piece of land. Okay, so that gives us the area of that lot. So it'll be, 1,000 square feet or whatever. Okay, if you're multiplying 10 times 100, you're going to get 1,000 square feet. That's how many square feet in that lot. That's a really small lot. Example, a house is 40 foot deep and 30 foot wide. Okay, deep, it's going what? Horizontal, going back. What is its area? We're multiplying 40 feet times 30 feet. The width of the house is 30 feet and it's 40 foot long. Okay, that's deep. It's horizontal. Remember, deep is horizontal. When it talks about height, it's how high are you? How tall are you? What's the height of the building? So you're multiplying two sides to get the square feet of a lot, acreage, or a room, or a wall, or a ceiling. Now, a triangle. How many in the chat? How many sides does a triangle have? Type it in the chatty chat. 3. Thank you, Paige. Yes, it has 3 sides, and 2 of those sides will be equal, and then we have the base, right? So you have like a Christmas tree, right? You have 2 sides, and then you have the bottom of the Christmas tree. So you have area. We're still getting the area. Just call me woman. All right. And Dolly, great. So the area, so you have 2 sides that are equal. So it's going to be the height. Okay, it's 2. We have 2 heights, right? The triangle times the base divided by 2. Okay, because it's half of a square. Okay, so we have the height of a square, okay, times the base. However, we have half of a box. It's a triangle. So we divide it, we cut it in half. So what are we doing? Dividing by 2. So if we have a square cardboard, right, we have 2 equal sides and 2 other equal sides. So when we cut it in half in a diagonal from one corner to the lower left corner, upper right corner, lower left corner, that is cutting it in half. So what is half? It's 2, right? 50%. So we're dividing by 2. The height of that cardboard times the base of the cardboard, then we cut it in half, we're dividing it by 2. So for example, a frame house has a front facade measuring 30 feet across and 20 feet high. Okay, a frame, right? A frame. So you've got 2 sides that are equal, and then you have the base. So it's 20 foot high. What is the area of the facade? Again, the area is the 30 times 2, okay, the height, okay, times the width across, that's on the bottom, divided by 2. So think about it, it's a square divided by 2, and a square has base times height. Then you cut it in half, you divide by 2. So square foot to 8, now converting square feet to acreage. That's important to know. So square feet, how do we divide square feet? Square feet is when you have base times height, right? Or base times width, length times width, or depth. Depth is the length going horizontal, and then height is vertical, right? So you could be calculating how much wall space has to be painted and by how many square feet we know. And then we know that a gallon can cover so many square feet of space. Then you know how many gallons to buy to paint the wall or the whole room. So it is acres. In here, they're talking about acreage. So acreage for a lot is the area in square feet. And how many square feet in an acre? It tells you there, 43,560. I remember it as 711. The first 2 numbers total 7. The last 3 numbers total 11. My family likes to gamble, and I used to gamble too, in Vegas, okay? And playing cards, right? So 711 is how I remember it. Others remember it by saying 4 realtors go down Interstate 35 going 60 miles an hour. Well, that's a lot for me to remember, okay? So I say 711, and you're going to say, well, in what order are the numbers? The largest number is on the outside. The 4 is on the outside. The 6 is on the outside. 711. 43,560. Always remember it with 7-Eleven. Much easier than 4 realtors going down Interstate 35, 60 miles an hour, right? A lot of words there. So the area is going to be, the frontage times the depth, which is the length, is to calculate acres. So now we have the area, we have the square footage, and we have the square feet of one side. The area of the property divided by the square feet will tell us how many acres it is. Example, how many acres is 196,020 square feet? When it has square, means you already multiplied 2 sides. Okay, so a lot has, 4 sides, but 2 are going to be equal, and so are the other 2. So 196,020 square feet divided by 1 acre, which is 43,560 square feet, 7-Eleven, will give us 4.5 acres. So we're dividing the area of the lot, which is in square feet, right? Area equals base times length, and divide that by the square feet of 1 acre, and we get how many acres that is equal to. You will have math problems like that potentially. Now, acre to square foot conversion. So we're looking for the square feet here. Well, we already know the known number is 43,560. That is known. The other numbers can change, but we know that 1 acre equals 43,560, 7-Eleven. So the square feet, it equals the number of acres. So the number of acres would be 4.5 times 43,560. So you see the math problem that we were doing before, division or multiplication? So first we divided 2 numbers to get another. Now here we're multiplying 2 numbers to get the square feet that we started out with. So division, multiplication. So many say, why do we need math? Multiplication, adding, because you're going to use it to calculate property square footage, okay, acreage square footage. A lot of buyers and sellers want to know, hey, what's this? What's the dimensions of the lot? How many acres is it? How many square feet is it? How many meters is it? Now you got to convert from feet to meters or acres to meters. Square feet, right? We're looking for this number now. Is the number of the acres divided by 43,560. So how many square feet is 0.75 acres? So not even an acre. So 0.75 acres times 43,560 square feet equals 32,670 feet. Okay, so here we're looking acres to square feet. So we have this formula here. We're looking for the square feet. They put it in the different order, right? So the square feet, this is what we're looking for. So they give us the number of acres, 0.75, 3/4 of an acre, right? You have 4 quarters, 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, and 0.25. So that's 4 quarters times 43,560 gives us how many square feet is in 3/4 of an acre. Okay, no questions, no questions. So here are linear conversions. Linear means in a straight line. Okay, in a straight line, not in a curve, not a percentage. It's in a straight line. It's linear. When we walk linearly. Okay, in a straight line. We might curve, all right? And that'll take us longer to get to the end point, right? Electricity runs in the least resistant way. It's straight. So, but electricity goes in wires, okay? But it takes the shortest path. So linear and area conversions. Okay, so you'll want to go and review how you convert 1 inch, okay? How much is it in feet? How many in yard? Feet to inches to yards. Okay, we know we have 36 inches in 1 yard or 12 inches in 1 foot. Okay, so, You know, a yardstick. Most of you, a lot of you may not know what a yardstick is. I have one. Okay. This is a yardstick. It's 3 feet long. It's 36 inches. 3 feet, right, is 36 inches. Or 3 feet times 12 inches equals 36. So that is a yard. A yard equals 3 feet equals 36 inches. Now we have measuring tapes, or actually now we have a digital measure. So instead of taking a measuring tape to measure every room like I used to do it in the old days, now we have a little digital one. It has a little laser beam. Cool. All right, so those are conversions on how, and then you have area measurements. And you want to review some of these because we just talked about converting area into square feet or into acreage or vice versa. So it talks about 1 square inch, 1 square foot, 1 square yard. So whenever it says square, you're multiplying 2 sides. It could be a rectangle. You're still multiplying 2 sides. So the unit is called square feet or square inches. Or square yard, you're multiplying yard times yard. Feet times feet. Inches times inches. You end up with, and then they're converting it, okay, to square feet. There's 144 square inches in a foot, in a square foot. 144, you multiply 12 times 12. So one side is 12, the other side is 12. It's 144 square feet. So, review your conversion. So you see 1 acre here is 1 divided by 640 is a square mile, equals to 43,560, right? 711, right? So then what does 43,560 equal? 2 sides that are equal 208.71 times 208.71 equals 43,560. And then that equals to 1 acre. All right, and then 1 square mile equals 640. Oh, this is when it comes to the rectangular survey system that I talked about. You see, 1 mile times 1 mile is 1 square mile. Okay, that is a section, which is equivalent to 640 acres. So 1 acre is 640 acres. Okay. Is 1 divided by 640 acres, because the 1 is equivalent to 640. So 640 square miles divided by 640 is 1 acre. Or 640 acres divided by 640 acres is going to give you 1. Gives you a 1. No, sorry. You can't have 640 acres convert to 1 acre. All right. So look, you see how it says 1 township? So 1 section equals 640 acres. And 1 section has 1 township has 36 sections. All right. And then again, 1 section is 1 mile by 1 mile. This is for the rectangular system. And 1 mile by 1 mile equals 640 acres. And that equals to 1 township of 36 townships. 1 township is 6 miles by 6 miles, because the township itself has 36 sections, and each section is 1. So it's 6 miles by 6 miles. So that is a township. It's 6 miles by 6 miles square, 36 square miles. The section is in acres. 1 mile by 1 mile equals 640 acres. Then you have your metric conversion. So you want to, review that. You'll probably deal more with these fractions of sections and acres. So when I mentioned earlier about one section, so when they're saying, hey, find out how the acreage in the north quarter, the north half of the section to the 1/4 of the section to the 1/8. The 1 is equivalent to 640. See, one section, 640. So you have 1/2 times 1/4 times 1/8. The 1 is equivalent to 140. So then you multiply 8 times 4 times 2 divided into 640. So 1/8 is 640 divided by 8 gives us 80. 640 divided by 4 gives us 160 acres. 640 divided by 2 equals 320 acres. So that's a half of section. One section, 640 acres. All right. So lots of, now, are you going to use all these? Are you going to have questions on all these? No, but you might. Okay. You may have one. Do you want to, review this type of thing? So 1 acre can be divided into a square mile, right? That's where this is. Okay. 1 square mile equals 640 acres in a section. So they're talking about sections, area measurement in areas that have a lot of acreage. That's where they use this type of calculation. We use it when there's lots. Okay, how many square feet in a lot? How many, 7,400 square feet? How many acres is that? Well, it's not even an acre, so you'll divide it by 43,560, and you get how the size of that lot in acres, not in square feet. All right, so those are fractions. So that's why we reviewed fractions at the beginning: multiplication, division, addition. So it just gives you all that. All right, so we're going to call it a day for now. And then you have more calculating areas. So look, in the legal description of a property. And that's in the rectangular survey system. So to be continued. All right. Any questions on all this math? It's a little bit harder when I'm not drawing it or calculating it, showing you, but it's showing you the formulas here. And then by reviewing that and practicing it in the exam questions, you get to understand it. Okay, because there's so much, there's, volume. Okay, volume is like you have water in a cube. That width times height times depth, that's a cube. It's in a volume, right? And let's see, leases. Oh, look, you're going to deal with leases. Percentage lease rent calculation. That's why we learned the percentages, how to convert from percent to decimal or from decimal to percent. Contracts for the sale of real estate, right? Percentage of listing price calculation. What percentage are you going to get? What percentage is the lender going to finance? Are they financing 80%, 90%? An FHA loan is buyer only puts down 3.5%. So the lender is doing what? 96.5%. Earnest money deposit calculation. If it's 1% of 500,000, how much is that? 1% of 500,000 is what? 5,000, right? You're eliminating two zeros. So that's how you start to use those simple calculations. Yes, basics are key. Addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. So with division and multiplication, you're dealing with percentages, with square feet, with acreage, with area. So when are you going over that stuff? What stuff? Oh, these things here. Be a little bit more explanatory. What stuff? When I'm doing some of this, what stuff are you talking about? Oh, look, adjusting comparables. appraisal and value. Yes, okay. I may do a few sessions of national and math, because when I only do math, not that many people pay attention. So if I do national, it attracts others. Those here in Texas, of course, they want me to do Texas. So let me go back to where I left off. And this, you basically just have to review it and try it yourself, okay? It doesn't do much good for me to verbalize it. So we'll end up here, and I'll put it, I'll bookmark that page, and we could potentially do it on Monday. Are those of you that are here, are you needing to understand more math and how the simple calculations are actually used in real estate? If so, type it in the comments, please. So if you're needing more math review, because this book has, look at all the sections of math. Okay. Leases. So we were going into leases, then contracts for sale, appraisal and value. All of these multiplications, divisions, percentages, and decimals, okay, are used with all these. Finance, investment, taxation, the, prorating the property taxes, the deposits, commission. Make sure you know how to calculate your commission, closing costs and prorations, insurance coverage. Seems like boring topics, but these are things that financially you're going to be dealing with in the real world. Yes, for sure. Want to learn more. Okay, then I will do some of this on Monday, and maybe I'll do less national and divide the class in half national and half math. All right. That would also help. Okay, very good. So then that it is. So it is. So it will be. On Monday, we'll continue with national and with the more math. All right. Awesome, y'all. Yeah, Monday at 6 p.m. And, I have the most traffic Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I was considering changing Saturday to like Tuesday and having it 3 days in a row, but I'm not sure. Today I had a pretty good class. I had up to 13 individuals. At most Saturdays, not that many. You all are very welcome. Remember, those of you that haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, hey, go to YouTube AgentPrep, tap that subscribe button, click that little bell so you're the first to get notified every time I go live or I upload videos or shorts, and tap the like button. Okay, let me know that you found something useful on this video or this webinar or this class or this prep class, and send me some love. Thank you, all of you, for being here and for continuing to learn. I had at least 2 or 3 students that passed last week, and not actually, I must only one from Texas. The others were out of state. So the national and the math, it's all 50 states. Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. Have an awesome day. Until next time. Catch you all later. Oh, and by the way, I'm also a practicing realtor, right? I just closed the transaction, 380, and one of my new listings went live yesterday, and a couple of showings this week.